Every generation has a day that defines it, a moment that lives forever in the collective memory. For millions of Americans, September 11th, 2001 is that day. Seniors, especially, can recall every detail, the sights, the sounds, the feelings of disbelief. The memory does not fade with time. Instead, it becomes etched deeper, reminding us not only of what was lost, but also of the questions that day left behind. It is not just the buildings that fell, but the sense of certainty about life itself. Suddenly, many were confronted with the fragile nature of existence, realizing how quickly everything can change. For older Americans who had already lived through wars and crises, September 11th brought back familiar feelings of fear, uncertainty, and vulnerability. Yet within that vulnerability, there is also room for strength and wisdom. This video invites you to walk through memory, reflection, and healing. It is not only about looking back at the tragedy, but about understanding what it means for our spiritual journey. Through the lenses of Buddhism and spiritualism, we will explore how pain can transform into compassion, how loss can be met with gratitude, and how death itself may not be the end of the story. For seniors, these reflections are more than theories. They resonate with lived experience. You know what it means to lose and to rebuild, to weep and to find hope again. You carry wisdom that younger generations cannot yet grasp, and it is through this wisdom that the deeper meaning of September 11th can be uncovered. Your story, your perspective makes this journey richer and more profound. In these minutes together, I ask you not just to listen, but to remember. Close your eyes, if you wish, and let yourself go back to that day. Recall the faces, the voices, the emotions. Let yourself feel it again, not to reopen wounds, but to allow healing to find its way into those very places where pain once lived. Healing begins when we dare to remember with purpose. This is a journey of memory, spirituality, and legacy. We will reflect on compassion, gratitude, and life after death. We will see how the teachings of Buddhism and spiritualism can guide us through even the darkest moments. And above all, we will discover that peace is not only possible, but necessary for ourselves, for our families, and for the generations that will come after us. September 11th, 2001, forever marked the memory of millions of Americans. Many seniors remember exactly where they were, what they were doing, and how they reacted to the news. This memory is not only historical, but deeply emotional. The human mind tends to hold on to memories tied to shock and pain, making it impossible to forget the feeling of collective loss. This is the starting point for creating a strong connection with the audience. More than a political event, September 11th was a spiritual turning point. Many people began questioning the meaning of life, the fragility of existence, and the unpredictability of destiny. It is in this space of reflection that Buddhism and spiritualism find fertile ground. Pain, when understood, can be transformed into strength and wisdom. When addressing this theme, it is important to bring the audience into the narrative. Invite them to close their eyes and recall how they felt on that day. This activates the emotional trigger, making each person feel like part of the story. And when emotion is stirred, attention remains engaged. Older Americans in particular carry not only the memory of the event, but also a lifetime of experience to interpret it. Many had already lived through wars, economic crises, and personal losses. September 11th added to that burden, reinforcing the need for a spiritual outlook in the face of human fragility. That is why the script must honor these life experiences, showing respect and empathy. It is not just about recalling a historical event, but about acknowledging the pain while also offering ways to find new meaning in it. This is the first bridge of connection with the audience. By the end of this topic, the message becomes clear. September 11th is not only a sad memory, but also an invitation to seek a deeper meaning in life. And here is where Buddhism and spiritualism provide truly transformative answers. Buddhism teaches that suffering is part of life, but also that it can be understood and transformed. This perspective brings comfort to those who endured losses on September 11th. Older audiences in particular understand that life is made up of cycles of joy and sorrow, and that everything is impermanent. This concept, though difficult, can also be deeply liberating. One of Buddhism's central lessons is compassion, not just feeling sorry for others, but sincerely wishing to relieve their suffering. After September 11th, countless Americans came together, helped neighbors, and embraced strangers. That spontaneous act of unity reflected Buddhist principles, even if people didn't realize it at the time. Highlighting this reflection awakens the identification trigger. The audience recognizes that they have already practiced, in some way, higher spiritual values. This creates pride and a sense of belonging, two powerful elements that hold attention to the very end. In addition, Buddhism teaches the importance of meditation as a healing practice. Inviting viewers to imagine a few moments of silence, breathing deeply, can be a strategy to create a direct and personal connection. This sensory experience increases engagement and turns the viewer into a participant. It is essential to emphasize that Buddhism does not exclude other faiths. On the contrary, it complements them. Many older Americans, raised in Christian traditions, may see this as a bridge between their faith and a universal spirituality. The focus is not to replace religion, but to find meaning and peace. By addressing Buddhism in this way, the script inspires hope, showing that even the greatest tragedies can be reframed through compassion, wisdom, and spiritual practice. Spiritualism offers another powerful perspective that life does not end with death. For those who lost friends or family members on September 11th, this belief brings comfort. The idea of reunion and continuation provides deep relief to the grieving heart. Seniors in particular are more receptive to this view as they naturally reflect on the end of life. Spiritualism responds not with fear, but with hope. It shows that each existence is a stage of learning and growth, and that death is only a passage to the next chapter. By introducing this reflection, the video activates the curiosity trigger. After all, who wouldn't want to know what lies beyond this life? That question keeps the audience attentive, searching for answers that can bring peace to the soul. Furthermore, spiritualism connects the tragedy of September 11th to a greater journey. It's not about understanding why it happened, but realizing that each soul follows its path and that love can never be destroyed. This message is especially powerful for seniors who carry personal losses and seek comfort. The script should also highlight stories of spiritual strength, showing people who turn pain into service to others. This activates the inspiration trigger, encouraging the audience to see their own lives with greater purpose. In this way, spiritualism becomes a beacon of hope, showing that death is not the end, but the continuation of a greater journey. Memory is a treasure for seniors. Reliving stories, sharing experiences, and teaching lessons is a way to keep life vibrant. September 11th is one of those moments that must never be forgotten, but it can also be transformed into a source of learning and gratitude. The script should invite the audience to reflect. Amid the pain, what acts of kindness were remembered? Who were the unsung heroes? This activates the appreciation trigger, encouraging people to see the light that shone even in tragedy. Gratitude is another essential point. It doesn't erase pain, but it softens it. Being thankful for life, family, and the health that still remains is a way to honor those who are gone. This deeply touches the hearts of seniors who understand the true value of simple blessings. Sharing stories of solidarity from that time reinforces the importance of community. Seniors, who often face loneliness, find hope in hearing about unity. This sparks positive emotions and strengthens engagement throughout the video. The video could also suggest a simple exercise, writing a letter of gratitude to someone who made a difference after September 11th. This practical action makes the viewing experience more personal and transformative. In the end, the message is clear. Remembering the past matters, but being grateful for the present is the true path to inner peace. Seniors play an essential role, passing down wisdom. September 11th, along with the teachings of Buddhism and spiritualism, offers lessons that must not be lost. The script should emphasize that sharing these reflections with children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren is a priceless legacy. This point activates the importance trigger. The audience feels they have something unique to offer, which creates pride and belonging. It's vital to show that life experience is a treasure no youth can replace. One central lesson is that violence never brings peace. Buddhism teaches the path of nonviolence, and spiritualism reinforces the power of love that transcends death. This wisdom is vital for a world still full of conflict. Seniors can become bridges of peace, inspiring younger generations to choose dialogue and understanding. Showing this role creates emotional engagement, as everyone longs to feel that their life makes a difference. The script can also encourage the practice of storytelling, gathering the family, speaking about what it was like to live through that historical moment and how spiritual strength was found. This strengthens bonds and preserves memories. In this way, seniors not only remember, but also become the protagonists of a legacy of love, compassion, and wisdom for future generations. As we come to the end of this reflection, remember, September 11th was more than a tragedy. It was a reminder that life is fragile, that tomorrow is never guaranteed, and that love is the only thing we carry beyond this world. Pain may unite us in grief, but peace is what transforms that grief into strength, hope, and resilience. For seniors, this is not just a story about history. It is a personal chapter in the journey of life. You know better than most that suffering cannot always be avoided, but it can always be transformed. Through compassion, as taught in Buddhism, and through the hope of continuity, as promised in spiritualism, even the greatest wounds can heal. The call today is simple yet profound. Turn pain into peace. Do not let grief harden the heart, but allow it to open a door to wisdom. Each time you choose forgiveness over anger, gratitude over bitterness, and love over fear, you honor those who were lost on September 11th and those you have lost in your own life. Take this reflection with you into your daily routine. Spend just a few minutes in meditation, prayer, or silent gratitude. Light a candle for someone you miss. Write a letter to someone who once helped you. Share a story with your grandchildren about resilience, unity, and the strength of the human spirit. These small acts weave peace into the fabric of everyday life. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Community, faith, and shared memory connect us all. No one needs to carry the burden of loss by themselves. When you speak your truth, when you share your wisdom, you lift not only your own spirit, but also the spirits of those around you. Together, healing is possible. And so the message is clear. Life is fleeting, but love endures. Pain may break us for a moment, but peace can rebuild us forever. Carry this truth into the days ahead and let it guide you to live with compassion, gratitude, and purpose. Pain unites us, but peace transforms us. The true victory is learning to live with love until the very last breath.